Let's hear it, Tony.
He never met a camera he didn't like. And it just seems like being out of the limelight right now as QB3 on a Cleveland Browns team struggling to score points. He's really missing the viral moments. I laugh about it because I don't take him too seriously anymore. I'm sorry, after that Rams game, I need evidence that he could play. All the pro Shedeur fans, and they're passionate about their favorite player, they think something like that is going on. They cannot believe there are players on the team at his position that are better than him, okay?
Don't skip a single second of this video. And if this story touches your heart, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and let us know in the comments. Where are you watching from? Let's begin. Man, Cleveland Talk Radio wasn't ready for what just happened. You could feel it. That moment when the old guard ran headfirst into a new era and didn't even realize the cameras were still rolling. What started as another throwaway segment about a rookie quarterback suddenly turned into a full-on reckoning. A live on-air reminder that confidence doesn't ask for permission anymore. Because the truth is, Tony Grossi thought he had this all figured out. He's been doing this for decades, sitting in front of a mic, delivering his experienced takes, building narratives that shape fan opinion before a single snap is played. But this time, he ran into a kid who wasn't built for the old rules. Shedeur Sanders didn't flinch, didn't backpedal, didn't feed the headline. He just said what every competitor says when the lights hit his face, "I'm ready." And that's where it all flipped. Tony tried to spin that statement like it was arrogance, like confidence needed his permission slip to be legitimate. But the problem is, when you're used to controlling the conversation, you don't know what to do when someone younger, sharper, and more grounded in reality exposes your bias without even trying. In real time, we watched a media veteran argue himself into a corner. Every sentence dug him deeper. Every attempt to school the kid made his own logic fall apart. You could hear it, the cracks forming, the hesitation, the stumbles, the quiet panic of a man realizing his authority didn't carry the same weight it used to. Because what Tony didn't expect was that fans are watching differently now. We're not buying the old spin anymore. We're listening with fresh ears, and when a reporter tries to clown a young player for being confident, we catch it, we rewind, we call it out, and that's exactly what happened. By the end of the segment, the tone shifted. Tony wasn't schooling anyone. He was the one getting schooled. The moment he admitted Shedeur didn't even approach the media, that it was ESPN Cleveland who reached out, you could almost hear every Browns fan exhale like, wait, so what's the problem then? That was the turning point, the moment the narrative collapsed under its own weight. This wasn't just one clip. This was symbolic, a generational collision between talk show ego and player authenticity. The old formula, question, provoke, twist, doesn't work when the athlete answers with calm clarity. Shedeur didn't need to yell. He didn't need to post receipts. His poise did all the talking. And that's why this moment matters. It's not about Cleveland. It's not about one debate. It's about the shift happening across the league, where confidence isn't cockiness and speaking your truth doesn't need a press pass. Tony just happened to be the first one caught in the crossfire. And something tells me he won't be the last. See, here's the part that keeps getting lost in all this noise. Shedeur Sanders didn't wake up one day and decide to talk big. He didn't just show up in Cleveland and start acting like he was owed something. This man earned his confidence the hard way, through reps, pressure, and production. Every ounce of belief you see from him was built brick by brick. Because before the talk shows, before the sound bites, there was tape, and the tape doesn't lie. Go back and watch his college career. Watch the way he read defenses, the way he kept his eyes downfield while chaos broke around him. We're talking about a quarterback who threw for nearly 10,000 yards, who posted one of the highest completion percentages in all of college football, who took hit after hit behind one of the most inconsistent offensive lines in the nation, and still delivered, still fought, still found ways to win games he had no business winning. That's not arrogance. That's pedigree. That's proof. He's not saying he's ready because he's cocky. He's saying it because he's built for this. He's earned this. He's worked for this. He's ready for this. And yet somehow when Shedeur says it, it's too confident. It's premature. But when Joe Burrow said it before his first start, people called it leadership. When C.J. Stroud told reporters he was born for this moment, they said, "That's the mindset you want in a QB." So why is it different here? Why is it that when he shows belief, it suddenly becomes ego? The media praised other rookies for this exact same energy, but when Shedeur shows composure, when he says he's ready to compete, it becomes a headline. And that's where Tony Grossi and guys like him completely miss the point. They take confidence, which every great quarterback needs, and twist it into something negative because it doesn't fit the image they're comfortable with. Tony reacted emotionally. Shedeur responded professionally. One was chasing clicks, the other was chasing greatness. When a coach like Kevin Stefanski says, "He's done a good job, all our guys feel ready," that's not lip service. That's a message. It means Shedeur is not just saying the right things, he's showing them in practice. He's earning respect from the people who actually matter inside that locker room. And that's where credibility lives. Not behind a microphone, but between the lines. You can question the hype. You can question the headlines. But don't question the work, because this kid didn't skip steps. He's walked every inch of the road that got him here. And he's not about to let some outdated narrative define him. This isn't arrogance. This is foundation. And the louder the critics get, the more that foundation holds. Because the truth is, when you've got a resume like Shedeur Sanders, you don't have to beg people to respect it. You just wait, because eventually the field does the talking. And something tells me, the next chapter of this story is about to get even louder. Let's be real. This isn't just about football anymore. It never is. When a young quarterback like Shedeur Sanders says he's ready, suddenly everyone's a body language expert, a psychologist, a moral compass. They start breaking down every word, every look, every little moment like it's a crime scene. And yet, when another young QB says the exact same thing, the same media calls it leadership, calls it swagger, calls it Mamba mentality. Funny how that works, right? Because when one quarterback smiles, it's charisma. When Shedeur smiles, it's arrogance. When another guy says he's ready for the moment, it's confidence. When Shedeur says it, it's ego. The playbook changes depending on who's holding the mic. And fans see it, we hear it. We're not blind to how this stuff gets framed. You can't keep moving the goalposts every time a young man carries himself with belief. Either confidence is a virtue or it's a vice. It can't magically switch depending on the player's name. But that's what happens all the time. You can feel it in the coverage, the tone, the wording. When they talk about Shedeur, it's not about football. It's about personality, perception, control. They can't handle that he's media savvy, that he understands the spotlight, that he grew up in it and never flinched. They call it flash. They call it marketing. But when another QB rocks designer fits, drops a quote about destiny, or posts a hype video, suddenly it's grit, it's branding, it's leadership off the field. There's a pattern here, and it's exhausting. Fans aren't dumb. We can tell the difference between analysis and agenda. We can see when criticism stops being about performance and starts being about comfort zones. Because let's be honest, if Shedeur was out here throwing picks, blowing reads, or ducking questions, sure, tear him down. That's fair game. But that's not what's happening. The guy's composed, confident, professional. And somehow that's the problem? It's like some people can't accept that this generation doesn't need their approval to shine. They don't have to earn swagger from a media stamp. They grew up watching players own their narratives, and now they're doing the same thing. Shedeur's not breaking any rules. He's just not playing by theirs. And that's what's really happening here. This isn't arrogance, it's autonomy. This isn't ego, it's evolution. The game has changed, and a lot of old school voices are scrambling to keep up. But every time they push back, every time they twist confidence into controversy, they just prove his point. They reveal exactly why this conversation matters. Because the truth is, this was never about a kid talking too much. It's about who gets to talk and who gets told to stay quiet. And Shedeur, he's not staying quiet. Not now. not ever. And that's exactly why this story's just getting started. Pressure. That's the part they never show in the highlight reels. Everyone loves the touchdowns, the celebrations, the interviews, but pressure? That's where you find out what a quarterback's really made of. It's the unseen weight, the noise, the doubt, all of it closing in until only one thing's left: the truth. And right now, Shedeur Sanders is standing in that fire. But here's the thing. Pressure doesn't break everybody. Sometimes it makes something stronger. Sometimes it forges exactly what the league didn't see coming. Think about it. Mahomes heard the talk. Too raw, too gunslinger, too Texas Tech. A few years later, he's the face of the league. Jalen Hurts, benched in college, told he wasn't accurate enough. Now he's leading a franchise. Lamar Jackson should switch positions. Yeah, tell that to the MVP trophy. Every great quarterback has that moment, the crucible, the point where opinion and reality collide. And that's where Shedeur is right now. He's not running from it. He's living in it. Because while the media talks, he works. While they replay sound bites, he's studying tape. While critics debate his confidence, teammates are watching him earn respect in silence. That's the part people don't see. The quiet grind that never trends, the early throws before practice starts, the extra meetings after everyone else leaves. It's not for show, it's for growth. And that's what makes this chapter of his journey so real. He's not fighting for clicks, he's fighting for trust. Every snap, every rep, every glance from a veteran in that locker room is another test. And from everything we've heard coming out of Cleveland, he's passing them one by one. Coaches talk about his poise. Teammates mention how he listens before he speaks. Those little things matter. In a league built on ego, humility, and hunger go further than anyone realizes. This isn't hype. This is hunger. And hunger doesn't need a headline. You can feel the shift. The early laughter from critics is getting quieter. That smirk in press rooms is turning into curiosity, because at some point, the tape becomes undeniable. And when that day comes, all those sound bites about media chasing, all those lazy labels, they'll fade. What'll be left is the work, the film, the proof. Shedeur's not asking for a crown. He's earning the right to compete for one. That's what this moment is. Not a controversy, a crucible. And if you've paid attention to his story, you know he's been here before. Doubt doesn't scare him. It fuels him, because every great player gets tested. Every one of them gets questioned. The real ones don't respond with words. They respond with tape. And the tape, it's coming. Because what the world calls pressure, he calls preparation. And this is just the beginning. It's coming. That moment every fan waits for. The one that doesn't need a microphone, a headline, or a single word. Just the field. Just the silence before the first snap. You can almost hear it now. The hum of the stadium lights, the heartbeat under the helmet, the crowd holding its breath. This is where everything we've talked about meets reality, all the noise, all the doubt. All the think pieces and hot takes, they don't matter anymore once the ball leaves his hand. Because that's the beauty of football. You can talk all you want, but eventually you've got to play. And when that day comes, when Shedeur Sanders finally takes that first NFL snap, every critic, every analyst, every so-called expert who tried to turn his confidence into controversy is going to have to sit and watch. They'll have no control, no counterpoint, no clever spin, just the truth. The truth of a young man who's been told, "You're not ready," since the moment he said, "I am." But here's the thing. Belief doesn't need permission. It needs proof. And Shedeur's about to deliver it. That first drop back won't just be about one throw. It's about the journey. It's about the kid who came from the spotlight and learned to work in the shadows. It's about the player who took every headline, every insult, every side eye, and turned it into fuel. While the media doubted, he studied. While they argued, he prepared. While they chased narratives, he chased moments. And now that moment is almost here. Imagine that first completion, that first drive, that first time he threads one between defenders and the sideline erupts. The cameras will swing. The tweets will start. the same voices that questioned him will scramble for new words. And you know what? Let them. Because this game was never about them. This isn't just Shedeur's moment, it's ours. Every fan who saw through the noise, every person who believed confidence wasn't arrogance, every viewer who said, he doesn't have to be perfect, he just has to be himself. We've been waiting for this too. We've watched the takes, the talk, the unfair comparisons. But when that whistle blows, when that pocket collapses and he stands tall anyway, that's when truth shows up. Because when the lights hit and the noise fades, all that's left is truth, and Shedeur's about to speak it with every throw. And maybe that's why this story matters so much. Because football, at its core, is about redemption, about proving that belief backed by work still wins. The critics can keep their clips. The fans will keep the faith. So when that first pass flies, clean, sharp, undeniable, I hope the stadium goes quiet for just 1 second, just long enough for every doubter to realize they were watching the beginning of something real.